I didn't know that I had lost my way. Thought everything was gonna be okay, but life was empty. I filled it up and carried on. The pain kept coming, I was going down. I held so tight, kept falling to the ground. I knew I had to change, I knew I had to let it go. And now I've found a better way to wash the ego pain away. And then I found the words to say, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. I feel so free, remember every day, the moment all the pain was washed away. I shine so bright now, and I want everyone to know. You've got this living deep inside you too, and it's so easy just to feel brand new. Commit surrender to your divinity within. And then you'll see a better way. Things you don't need will fall away. Your eyes will open and you'll say, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. Oh, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. When I look in the mirror, there's a man that I see who's been searching a lifetime for a way to be free, never knowing the darkness that was following me like a mutating virus, one that I couldn't see. And I breathed you in, and I fell again. I can see the end. Here I am now, I transcend. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. You were everywhere, in my everything. I don't need you now. was searching for answers. They were there all the time, but I just couldn't see them. In my heart I was blind. I believed in your story. Now I know it wasn't true. And I see who I am now. And I know what to do. And I'm breathing in. When I start again, I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. You were everywhere, in my everything. I don't need you now. Just turn around and go. I can't do this anymore. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. You were everywhere, in my everything. I don't need you now. I want you to know that I let you go. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. You were everywhere, in my everything. I don't need you now. I want you to know I see who you are, and I'm letting go. I want you to know.
I was like, wow.
Well, good morning.
Maayong buntag.
You'll office.
Maayong gabi.
No, that's afternoon.
Oh, that's evening.
Yeah.
Mabuhay.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are doing amazing.
Yes. Yeah. So great to have you on the call. Where are we at here? Got everybody?
Can we get the list up? Awesome. Good evening, Gilbert. Oh, we got Angel. That's my friend Angel. I worked with him in the past.
Oh, okay.
Welcome, Angel. I think you were on last night or yesterday morning, correct?
There's NC. I'm going to be calling you NC because there's no way I'm going to be able to pronounce that first word.
Hey, come on, Don. Try.
How close did they get?
Did he even get a tad
No,
bit close?
I can't imagine even one syllable pronounced properly. Well, I had a phone call this morning, and as I have a lot of times, and the person asked me if we could focus on the corporate world and my experience in the corporate world, and I have done that to a degree, pieces here and pieces there, but to put a whole focus on my experience in the corporate world is certainly that's what I'm going to focus on today. all those experiences. And because the biggest thing is, how do you introduce this into the corporate world? Like, how does this fit? You know, that kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, it's certainly different. So, and anyway, I'll give you a background of what happened, and or do you want to? We're going to do something.
No, we can just flow, just flow.
Yeah. So I had worked, and some of these pieces, some of you've already heard, but it's like, okay, this is how this played out. So I was in Vancouver, and I traced down Richard Zokol, who played on the PGA Tour for years. And I had a meeting with him and asked him if he knew some Canadian golfers. Of course, I knew the answer. He said yes. He said, one guy, Ian Leggett, he said, like, he's been having extreme difficulty with physical symptoms. And right now he's just playing out the end of his career because he's not doing well. Anyway, so he hooked me up with him, and Ian came into Vancouver to work with me. And he had heard, actually, he wasn't making any cuts whatsoever. Wasn't making any cuts on the tour. So he played Thursday and Friday. And there was no playoff on the Saturday or Sunday, you know. And so I worked with him. And because he had a bunch of physical symptoms, which certainly hampered his playing skills. So when I worked with him, what had happened was, all of a sudden, he's in the playoff on Sunday. So like there's 2 cuts, and the next thing he's in the playoffs. Like the top 3, top 5, that kind of thing, which is amazing. And what happened was, the co-CEO of Research in Motion, Jim Balsley, happened to be a friend of his. Go figure. Because they were both in Ontario. And so, unbeknownst to me, Jim calls up Ian and said, like, how you doing this, bud? You were like 2 inches away from total retirement, and now you're in a playoff. Like, what's going on? So I'm working with this guy. I wouldn't attempt to describe it. And he's in Vancouver. And ever since I worked with him, things have changed dramatically. So, okay, well, give me his name. Give me his phone number. And so I get this call from Jim, the co-CEO. So, Mr. Smith, I have, I want to experience your process, but I'm going to ask you some questions. Sure. Okay. So I got this going on. Can you deal with that? Yeah, no problem. How about this and this? Yeah, all good. Okay, this one here. And said it. Yeah. Okay, now this one here. It's been going on for years. And it's serious. Like, and it's impacting it. Yeah, no problem. Okay, what's the cost when we start? And the next week, boom, he flew me into Toronto, and I work with him. And he was in such rough shape that he had patches over his eyes, like he was, you'd swear he was on death's door. And within a week, he was just shining like the sun. And it was like, wow. So what happened was, he flew out to Vancouver to meet me for phase 2. And then he went up to, he went on a cruise up to Alaska. And when he come back, I met him in Seattle for phase 3. And it was like, gone. Everything was gone. Like, oh my God, you know? And then he started telling everybody, like the same as he told Ian. you got to see this guy, like, all of this. And introduced me into the YPO community, the top guys, like the big boys. And it went on and on and on. And then the COO took my process, Don Morrison. And that made a significant difference. And then what happened is, now this is the awesomeness of the corporate world. So Jim gave Don permission to do whatever needed to get done for people to take this. And what happened was we got the COO, got the CFO, got the head of human resources, and the head of some other C something. I can't remember what the C was, the other C. And we met that day and went through all this list. And it was, I believe it was 67 or 87 people that gave me that day. Okay, gave permission. It was all okay. The financial okay. We're talking 100 grand a person. Okay, US. And all the names were checked, and then we started. And some of the stories were like staggering. One guy like just constantly missing days after days with sickness and illness and injuries and all of that. Gone. There was, some of them are not, they were a little different. There was one lady that she was pregnant. She was told not to get pregnant because 5 years previous, she almost died giving birth to their son. So the medical told her not to get pregnant. Anyway, she took my program and she got pregnant right away.
Wow.
And the crazy thing is this, that I can't remember, it was 5 months or 6 months that she gave birth to a baby boy, okay? 5 or 6 months. And they told her like it was going to be long, painful and whatever. And she went to the hospital on Friday evening, and she had a natural birth on Saturday morning. Like it was like just amazing, crazy things. And but then in the corporate world, that really doesn't matter that much. Like they don't add that up as a positive,
Yeah.
So, but some of the crazy stories, there was one guy, I got it. I'm just having difficulty recalling all of the stories, but one was, he had, how did it go? Oh, yes. So he was a CFO, and he was trying to secure 4 contracts, 2 for 6 months, 1 for 9 months, and 1 for a year, with 0 success. 0 success. He came to Vancouver. I worked with him on Thursday afternoon. On Friday morning, so we were at a resort in Whistler, and he came to me and he said, Don, I got something to tell you. I said, oh, sure, James, like what do you got to tell me? Okay, now there was 3 hours difference between Vancouver and Toronto. And what happened was he said, yeah, I had meetings this morning, and in 40 minutes, I secured all 4 contracts worth in excess of 250 million. How crazy is that? So those 4, 2 for 6 months, 1 for 9 months, 1 for a year, 0 success, the next morning in 40 minutes, all came to fruition. there was others in that group that he was in. And one of them is Dale. And on Thursday, now this was on the weekend, like they would come on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think, no. Yeah, they would come for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, fly home on Sunday. And so this Dwayne, that was his name, sorry. And he was the head of sales for all of the states, United States. So big territory, okay? And once again, the corporate world is like money, how like is this worth it? That kind of thing, you know? And so he had a meeting on Thursday. And they told him that they were not carrying his product anymore. We're talking the BlackBerry, iPhone, okay? And we're not carrying your product anymore. Because he was in his divinity, he turned it around. They bought everything they were going to, plus they bought another 25% on top of that.
Sheesh.
Worth in excess of $250 million. So two guys in the same weekend made the company $500 million.
Sheesh.
Okay. I'm like, yeah, do you think somebody's going to be concerned about 100,000? But that's not all. That's not all. Okay. So there we had those. And then Jim, the CEO, co-CEO, sorry. And I told this story before. They were in the middle of a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit. Multi-billion-dollar lawsuit. They were in a big conference room. And they had authorized a check that morning to be written for $1.2 billion to get out of the lawsuit. Now, the difficulty with that was that paying that much could cripple the company. But if they didn't pay, they were going to be sued, which they wouldn't be able to, like it was like they were caught in this catch-22. So here they are in the meeting. And what happened was they were about to sign, and Jim says, I gotta go. Now there's 40 people in that room, counting all the lawyers, all the C-class and everything on the one side with the research emotion, and then on the other side, all those that were suing. And they were about to sign, and Jim said, I gotta go. I'll be right back. What do you mean you gotta go? Like, we're ready to sign. I gotta go. I'll be right back. So there was 3 hours difference between Toronto and Vancouver. And my son and I were playing golf in Furry Creek. If any of you have ever been there and played that course. So we were on the 3rd hole. I was ready to tee off on the 3rd hole. I get this call. And it was Jim. He was on the on-demand program, of course. And told me what was going on. I said, how much time, Jim, do we have to change this? He said, I got to be back in the meeting in 8 minutes. Got to be back in the meeting in 8 minutes. Okay. I said, okay, you ready? Boom. We were done in 6. Hung up the phone. Jim went back into the meeting, said, we're not doing it that way. We're doing it this way. That 6-minute phone call saved the RIM $625 million. How crazy is that? 3 guys, $1 billion. Over $1 billion. So is this worth it? What do you think?
Absolutely.
You know, and not to mention how efficient everybody became. Like one guy, and a lot of these stories in my book, Internal Perfection, that you can find online, I believe.
Yes, on Amazon.
Okay, on Amazon. And anyway, okay, what was I saying? Got distracted there. So oh, that's from here. Oh yes, now I know. We had had Lance Armstrong in to do a bike tour for the company. That was one of their highlights. And they brought me, Jim brought me in this private jet with the tragically hip. So like I was certainly moving and shaking with the high rollers, that's for sure. And after the bike ride, we're at this pool, a big outside pool, and it just went around like that. It was all, you know, and there was two guys, or three. Was it two or three guys? Three. I was sitting by the pool, and they start like, "Where are you from?" "I'm from Vancouver." "What do you mean Vancouver?" "Yeah, Vancouver." "What are you doing here?" "I was invited." "Who invited you?" And it was like Jim, you know. "Who were you?" And it went on and on and on. And then they started asking me what I did. And I started explaining it. I started explaining what it is that I did. And about 20 feet away, on the other side of the pool, there was this one guy, and he was eavesdropping on what I was saying. And here's what he said. "I know you. I know who you are. I don't know your name, but I know who you are. You work with Jim Balsley." And that day, the whole culture in the company changed. How amazing is that? The whole culture. We're talking, I think it was 18,000. I think it was 18,000. All changed by me working with one person, the most influential person. The whole culture changed. How amazing is that? So that's what I'm saying about that culture, like how everything can shift, especially when you start at the top and work your way down. Start at the top and work your way down, not the other way around. And so, yeah, it's very, very powerful in the corporate world. And the neat thing is, I mean, I had a program of the one-on-one and the on-demand for the C class. Some of them were open to doing it as a group as well. So because there were so many C class, and so yeah, it was pretty exciting. Crazy stories.
I can only imagine just working. And so you guys, just to clarify, this is Research in Motion, the company that created the BlackBerry. And at the time, they were, before Don, they were at a 6.8 billion, and then after working with him, at the high, after the contract was over, it was 68 billion.
Yeah.
So like literally a 10x. And we're talking about 10x when a company's already at over $1 billion. That's insane. So insanely awesome, you know, like you can't, like, you know, that's why Don likes to work with athletes, because it's all measured. Similar with these large corporations,
it's measured, but not quite the same. It's like the whole company is measured. It's kind of like in the athletic world, it's like, okay, what division, like where are you at in the standings? But in the athletic world, you can actually measure each person. And some of these you can measure, like I just said, but a lot of them you can't. It's just, yeah, like everybody's so much happier, and there's no, the missing time from work has dropped staggeringly. You're like, so there was all of these benefits from doing this, and well worth the financial investment for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of energy that you have access to whenever you do the divinity process, I mean, it's just,
Limitless.
it's limitless. Like yesterday, I mean, I had only slept like 4 hours, traveled for 4 hours. I went and met like all of these people, and they're like, "Oh, do you drink coffee? No. Do you smoke? No. Do you drink alcohol? No. You know, I don't do anything." Like what the heck? Like what's going on with this guy? Like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just high off of this divinity, and like your energy is so much higher. So imagine whenever you have access to all of this energy, how much more you can get done. You know, the amount of focus and just the drive that you have is limitless, and you just things flow so much more natural. So whenever you start to introduce this to the corporate world, they're gonna notice like everyone starting to like really get into their flow. And I mean, like, there's companies like Apple and Google, they prioritize like the flow of the company.
Right.
Like that's what their focus is on now. Like, oh, you need to take some time off and go do something fun because they understand like you being, stuck in this box like kind of actually lowers your productivity.
Right.
So it's like, what if you could have access to something that can give you flow 24/7?
Right.
Like without having to force it to happen. There's no level of force. So, and I talked about this the other day. I was watching the movie Blackberry, and that movie's basically kind of explains some of what Don just talked about. Like Jim, I mean, they don't talk specifically about the process, but I think in the book,
Yeah, in the book Jim mentions.
yeah, so Jim Bosley, the CEO, co-CEO of Research in Motion, he does mention Don. But I would just to give yourself a little bit of perspective, I would go and watch the BlackBerry movie. That's exactly who Don was working with, the number 2 company in the world at the time. And so
No, that's how it ended up being the number 2 company.
it ended up, correction, it ended up becoming the number 2 company in the world at the time. And I mean, I remember as a kid, I had a BlackBerry Bold.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that phone. It was like you had that phone, you were the cool guy. Like,
yeah, totally.
So it's interesting to see like there's no limit to who this can be offered to. And in fact, the higher level echelon guys, they're probably more accepting because we talked about this before. No amount of money can actually replace this. And in fact, it will just help them achieve more in a better flow, with a better flow. So if this is your first time on this call, you're probably wondering like, what the heck are these 2 guys in pink and purple talking about? And you've heard the stories of like, the three executives at Research in Motion and how Don helped them with this process literally earn or generate or save in excess of over $1 billion, and that was in a very short time period. So what we'll do is we're gonna show you a video that's gonna explain what this process is and how it. We're not gonna go into all the nitty-gritty details, but if you've been looking for something, whether it's in personal development or religion or any of these different like philosophies or plant medicine or whatever, I just want you to know that this process is unlike anything before. And I want you to imagine being able to be completely free to be you, free of anxiety, limiting beliefs, trauma, phobias, just completely free. So if you've been looking, I just want you to know that your search is over.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Don Smith. That's Don with 2 N's. And I'm here to share with you what I've developed over 44 years that I call IAMDIVINITY. I say that I am divinity because I'm divine and so are you. No matter what you've done and what you haven't done, you are divine, you always were and you always will be. And it gets all covered up. And so all of those trips to the personal developments and all of those things, and they don't hold, and did you ever question yourself? Instead of just going back and getting the next one and the next one and the next one and none of them hold? Well, there's a reason for that. A very big reason is because you're working at a belief level of who you think you are. That's what beliefs are, both negative and positive. They're who we think we are. So going from a negative belief to a positive belief is not the answer whatsoever. It's about the knowing of who we truly are. There's knowing. It isn't a belief. And so all of these ideas of doing this and all of those trips to the wherevers, it's like dealing with a piece of something. But this is not a piece of anything. This is the total knowing of who you are. And what I've developed over this 44 years is a process that's instant and it's permanent. Now, the permanent comes in by you doing something for holding it. But I'm telling you, there's people have this for years, and it's instant. And how do I say that with such boldness? Well, put it in the category of a phobia. 90% of the population has a phobia of something. Bugs, snakes, rats, heights, water, whatever. And my question to you is, how long did it take for you to create that phobia? Yes, you're right. 1 instant. And yet everybody questions me about that. And yet that's all it took. 1 instant. So now what I did was I reverse engineered near-death experiences and phobias to find out how they worked, and I reverse engineered it. So if you can create a phobia in a second, and most times it's before the age of reason, which is 4, 5, 6. Think about that. At that young of an age, that in 1 second you created a lifetime phobia. Well, it's a lifetime phobia because you're holding on to it for protection. That's how the ego works. It's going to get you to hold on to something that's harmful for you so it can keep you aware in case it happens again. That's how toxic your ego is. And it's not your ego, it's the ego. Sorry, my mistake. Because you are much more than an ego. And so what it's about is if you create it in a second, why would it take any longer than a second to reverse it if you knew how you did it? That's what I do. That's one of the pieces. And then the other is the permanentness of it all. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. What color are your eyes? What color are those eyes of yours? Now you tell me how long you had that color. Yeah, your whole life. That's permanent. Would you agree? But look at the permanentness of a phobia. You had it from age 4 to 84. That's 80 years. You'd think that was permanent. But it was created in a second, and you can reverse it in a second. So it's not. That's what I'm saying. So that's what we're talking about. Something that's instant, something that's permanent, and it's about who you truly are. Your divinity, your divine. Don't ever forget it. Always remember it. And all of these other things are happening because you have an attachment to the personal development system of beliefs and changing a belief from a negative to a positive. It's not going to hold. It will not hold. Yes, there will be improvements. Congratulations on doing that. That's searching. I'm talking about a shift from this to a shift from this. Who we're not to who we are. And then doing a simple exercise. Takes 5 minutes, 3 times a day to hold it. And there you have it. That's it. That's who you are. That's why it's like the color of your eyes. The color of your eyes has been that way all this time, and you still have that color. Well, it's the same. Who you truly are is permanent. Who your beliefs are not, because it's not true. No matter how much you believe, the negative or the positive about those beliefs, they're false. And so, I'm here to share with you to go on a journey under 2 hours. Now I'm talking about, like I've worked with 15 different pro athletes or Olympians, okay? That's just in sports. And then mega billionaires, millionaires, and health
cancer, you know. One guy, yeah, I met him in the garbage room in Vancouver. I opened up the door and there he is. And he's so gray and he's humped over and he's like, you think he was going to die any second. I said, holy shit, man, you don't look too good. What's going on? He said, oh, I got prostate cancer. I've had it for 16 months. I've had 32 radiation treatments. And I don't know how much time I have. I said, don't listen to that bullshit. Can I ask you a few questions? Within that 15 minutes, I had asked him all these questions. And all I knew about him was his name was Al. 3 weeks later, I get a call from him, the same guy. He said, hi, Don, this is Al Valjanic. I met you in the garbage room 3 weeks ago. Yeah? Well, I don't have any cancer. Now, I could fill this room with those stories. Fill this room with those stories. And you can access this magnificent, powerful, divine energy called I Am Divinity. And what's natural about it, it matches who you truly are. That's the key. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting that you will know who you are and it will override and supersede who you think you are? Now, if you're tied up with that persona that you've developed, in a second, I might add, and kept it all this time, like I just worked with a guy that when he was 9, his mom died, and he decided to harden his heart. And he hardened his heart the next 40 years. And that's what all his issues were about. We went back, cleaned that up, boom, it's gone. All the symptoms were all gone. That's how easy it is, and that's how simple this is. So if you want to continue with your hard work and all of those kind of things, and going back and paying for this again, that again, and this again, and the counseling and the therapy and coaching and all of that, go ahead, by all means. But if you want to be free, free to be you, free to be who you truly are. And those eyes, every time you look in the mirror, it will remind you how magnificent you are. And that's how this process is about, whether it's in an individual or whether it's in group. And I welcome you to join us in this journey of raising humanity's consciousness from its existing 210 to 700. That's right, you heard it right. 210 to 700. So it's an awesome journey. We're looking for 100 that are willing to go to 700 to raise humanity's consciousness. So I welcome you, and I'll see you on our journey.
All right. So that was probably something, if this is your first time, that was what you heard is probably like, how does that work? Well, yeah, this is completely different than the old model, especially if you're in the industry of like sales, network marketing, you know, the personal development world. Like, how does that work? And this is past the intellect, you know.
Correct.
I've done so much personal development, you know, in the old system, read thousands of books. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into workshops, transformational workshops, gotten all the certification, breath work, all of the different things that I thought I needed to become better and to become more. But what we're talking about here is not based off of a belief level of who you think you are, whether it's I'm not worthy or the belief level of I am worthy. This is a complete and utter knowing of who you truly are. And Don likes to say, it's not I am loved or I'm not loved. I am worthy or I am not worthy. It is I am love and I am worth. The complete embodiment of the I am love worth. So it's infinite. Who you are at your core is infinite. You are a bright divine light. And our mission here at I Am Divinity is to help raise humanity's consciousness to a level 700. And so, Will, if we can get that chart pulled up really quick. What we're talking about is raising the consciousness of the entire planet. And there's obviously going to be some financial gain for all of you that are a part of this mission. I mean, this is, you know, being in the industry for over 12 years and generating millions of dollars for myself, for companies. In one, I think it was like what, 1 year at one point that we had about a team of about 10,000 customers. And so, we generated millions of dollars every single month for that company, but like the impact wasn't really much. It was a financial service company. But imagine shifting people's lives and taking them to, so just to kind of give you an example, the overall average of the human consciousness on the planet is 210. So you see where it says courage, the predominant emotional state is affirmation, and the process is empowerment. That's great. Okay, awesome. You have courage, you have affirmation, but like we talked about, this isn't affirming. Like you don't wake up in the morning and say, you have to look in the mirror and say, hey, my eyes are green. Right? You don't need to tell yourself that. It's the same thing. You don't have to go into the mirror and say, I am worthy. Like, duh. Like, of course you're worthy. That's who you are. And we're talking about taking people from a 210 all the way to a 700 to 1,000. And just for reference, the average that someone will raise their consciousness in a lifetime, we're talking a whole lifetime, 60, 70, 80 years, is 5 points. 5 points. We're talking about like they're going from 210 to 215. I just want you to think about that and just let that sink in.
Or not think about it.
Not even think about it. Feel that. You're going from a 210 to 215 in 70, 80 years. And what we're talking about is taking you from wherever you are on this chart, just as long as you have these 4 qualities, which is courage, honesty, openness, and the willingness, to a 700 to 1,000. There's not a process on the planet that we know of that can actually do that. And the 700 to 1,000 realm, that is where all of the great saints, prophets, all of the great beings, divine beings like Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, all of them, that's where they were at. And they say that someone that's at 700 holding that vibration is counteracting 70 million people's consciousness on this earth. So imagine being at that level, what you're able to do. I mean, we've heard stories like Paul and Donna being open and talking about, what they were going through and going through the process live. We're talking about like a few minutes here on these lives that we do every single day, was able to shift our COO, Mr. Will, and his wife. Now imagine now that they're able to recognize that aspect of themselves, what they're able to do for other people. Now that's just on a personal level. The level of energy and the level of productivity that you get when you're at these other levels is just unheard of. Like, because you're not having to force anything. As you see, like on this chart, under a 400, you're forcing everything. You're having to you're having to study. You're having to do all of these things and make things happen. But whenever you're operating out of 500 and above, you're in a state of what we call power. So there's a book that this chart is actually based off of. It's called Power versus Force, that Dr. David Robert Hawkins created. He's passed now, but this, so you're operating in these levels of power. So just imagine the levels and the people and the impact that you're able to really create when you're operating at the 500 to 1,000. And we're talking about going to 700, by the way. Like, yeah. Which is plus. Yeah. And we're not even talking about all the other work that you've discovered. Like, you can take off the chart, Will. So yeah, we're really excited to be on this journey with you all. And so yesterday, our update was that we're waiting on a couple of things as far as the smart contract goes. So, you know, IAMDIVINITY, we give people, we don't give, we empower you to step through the door to have an instant and a permanent transformation. And for those people that are willing to go on this mission with us, we have financial products to back it. It's just like kind of like the cherry on top. We want to make sure that you guys are taken care of on a financial level. So we have also the Forex fund, and we also have the crypto fund. So those two pieces are really powerful because, I mean, I've been a part of different financial vehicles and whatever. I've been in the Forex space, I've been in the crypto space since like 2017, and you know, made several $100,000s in crypto, and Forex was like pretty crazy for a few years as well. And it's great, but what we do is we're focusing on the divinity. And so for all the people that are really about the divinity, we're giving you a bonus, which is, hey, we have institutional level traders, meaning this is not some guy, these are not just guys that are just like trading off of their phone. These people have engineers, mathematicians, like scientists analyzing the markets all around the world, and they're trading our money for us. And the minimum that these people take outside of our community and that they will accept to actually trade your money is a minimum of $250,000 US. Minimum. So a lot of people don't have $250,000 to just throw into a fund to have it traded, right? So what we've done is we collectively as a community, we have brought these people on because we trust them, because there's just not many trustworthy people in this space.
And because the key person took the process.
Yes, the key people in the crypto fund and the Forex fund, they've done the divinity process. So of course they're operating in a level of integrity or above, of course. So we're giving you guys access only for the people that are about the divinity, meaning our community, to be able to hop in and be a part of the fund. And the minimum is a $500 investment. So really, really cool. You get to have institutional level traders trading your money for you. It's simply just like parking your money, just like a savings account, and having it grow. But it's a lot better because you take your money, you put it in a savings account in Bank of America or whatever, any other bank. Guess what? You're not even getting 1% a year. You're not even getting 1% of the year for a whole year. They're taking the money, they're making money, multiples off of your money, and they're going to give you like barely 1% for the entire year, which doesn't even account for inflation. Like inflation is literally like at this point like 8% a month or something.
Are you serious?
It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, like, so we're talking about like, yeah, like for the crypto fund, I mean, it's going crazy, which just to announce, I prematurely announced that it was closed. But we talked to Josh, and the altcoins are actually still just warming up. Obviously, Bitcoin has exploded. There's a slight retracement, but we're actually opening the crypto fund. It's still open. So if you want to get into the crypto fund, you can get into the crypto fund. For the month, I'll tell you guys, the crypto fund is already up over 6 figures in profit for the month. And we're what, in March? Like, so yeah, for February it was over $110,000 profit for the crypto fund. So if you want to get in on the action, definitely get in. It's only going to get crazier. I mean, Bitcoin hasn't even hit the halving process yet, which I'm not going to go into what that means. But basically it's about to it's going to reach some new all-time highs, which means that you guys you're going to have the ability to take advantage of that without taking on the risk. Because you know, being in the financial space in the past, what I realized is it's mostly psychology. It's like, and what I mean by that is like your emotional reactions. And the cool thing is with obviously the divinity process and all that, like, number one, you're not going to have to trade. Number two, there's no level of like worry or fear or whatever. It's just like, just you start taking risk. And the cool thing is here we have people that actually know what they're doing. They're in their divinity. They know exactly what they're doing. And the crypto fund, he's estimating it, if you were to get in at the very beginning, it would be a 1,000% increase. 1,000%. I mean, I was telling you, like, Bank of America will give you 1% for the year. Like,
That much.
yeah. That's probably a lot for them, actually. They're all about extraction. They don't want people to win. And then the Forex fund, we're talking, you can do this whenever, it will never close. Because the Forex markets, they run 24/5. So 5 days a week, 24 hours a day. And that's like 10% a month. So pretty cool. We give people access. So if the crypto fund is over 1,000%, would they split that? So the way that the crypto fund works is wherever you got in, they will track that. So let's say you get in right now, they're gonna track like when you got in, and they'll give you your split accordingly. So when I say 1,000%, that's if you got started at the very beginning. But depending on where you got in, obviously now the market's a little bit different now than it was even like a week ago, right? So it wouldn't be the exact same split. So everyone is going to be tracked to the like where they got in. That's why we have the contract in place so we can see when you got in, how much you invested, all that. So that's one aspect, like I said. So the divinity, the people that are about the divinity, they get access to the funds, because we want people to, because the thing is money obviously in this world is important to an extent. It's like divinity is number one, because you can have all the money in the world.
And I've worked with those. I've worked with the ones with money, all the money in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Don worked with all of them. They were still unhappy. They were still in their own stuff in their prisons, addictions and phobias and all that. Like their guy he didn't fly on his private jet for 6 months.
Yeah, and hadn't talked to his main group in 9 months, and hadn't talked to the general population in 2 years. Okay, he had so much anxiety and so much panic, and he had 5 addictions: alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, and sex, and he was in the middle of a messy divorce. Now that's what he showed up with, and this is a billionaire. Okay, this is a billionaire. And we took this process. He took the process, flew to Vancouver, took the process, and all his addictions were gone. All his addictions were gone. He had taken his wife with him. They got immediately back together while they were in Vancouver. They already made that decision before they even left Vancouver to go back to Toronto.
Wow.
Like all those things happened. And he pulled off I think it was a $750 million deal, like within a month. On top of that. So like, that's the kind of things that that can happen.
Yes, Paul. Well, I mean, since we are taking new people that want to get into the crypto fund, we'll have the onboarding. That way we can help you access that. But that's crazy. That's insane. Like a lot of the people, especially like in the industry that I've been in, we are like, oh, we got to get the next deal, this and that, like, make more money, add another zero, thinking that that's going to free us. But that's a clear example. Like someone that's a billionaire, I'm talking, this is like the top 0.0001% of the entire world, wasn't flying his private jet. He wasn't talking to the general population nor his staff, and was about to have a divorce. I mean, imagine.
And 5 addictions.
And 5 addictions. It's crazy. So like, we're not talking about, hey, like another financial company, make a little bit of money. We're talking about where you're gonna have complete freedom within. Plus, we're gonna give you access. That's just the cherry on top to generating some extra income with our hands-free financial vehicles. And on top of that, just by you holding your light and just by you being you freely to be you, you're going to attract people. People are going to be like, Don, you look real young. What are you doing?
They still don't know what I'm doing.
You're like, what? Why are you shining so bright? Like, what's going on? Like, you used to be really quiet, and now you're just always smiling. Like, that was me, like, and it's like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say the quiet part. I was definitely a talker, but yeah, like people are gonna be drawn to you just like, flies to a light. And when that happens, you're like, yeah, I took this process. I'm a part of this community. It's called IAMDIVINITY. We help people have, or you can just tell them your story. Like we were talking about yesterday, like I was dealing with this, and this. Like, for example, for me personally, I had been traveling before I came here to the Philippines. I had been traveling with my former wife for over 6 months. I had, I had multiple businesses, passive income, talking about I would wake up in the morning, I'd just have like money coming in. I was basically able to do whatever I wanted for the last, I don't know, like at least like the last 5 years minimum. But I was still in my own self-contained prison. I was addicted to marijuana, addicted to sex, addicted to coffee, addicted to validation, people pleasing, and literally was having panic attacks every day. And I was certified to help people, like, and I'm having panic attacks, like good luck to those people. So like I'm like trying to do my breath work and stuff, and like I'm still having panic attacks. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, and like I'm sitting here at the top of the 48th floor penthouse in Malaysia, one of the nicest penthouses, and for the first time in my life, I'm like contemplating suicide. Literally. And I've always been like the positive guy, right? And this is where we talk about, it's not about the beliefs. It's not about like trying to create different beliefs for yourself. It's just coming back to this knowing of who you truly are. And ever since I came here, I mean, I used to drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day. I'd smoke just to get my work done, 4 to 5 cups of coffee a day, 8 to 10 bowls of marijuana a day. I'd be doing a healing session for someone and I have my bong next to me. Like what? Like I'm just being authentic with you guys. Like that's where I was. And a lot of the times, like people online would literally be like looking up to me, but they didn't know that I was in my own self-contained prison. And it doesn't make me bad, right? It doesn't, and if you're dealing with whatever, it doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you good or bad. It's just what is. And so what we're talking about is being completely free to be who you truly are. And we have all of the financial pieces, like the crypto fund, the Forex fund. And right now we're like, I know we told you this yesterday, we're like 99.8924% done with the smart contract. So instant transformation and instant pay.
And just if I could allude to something on that.
Sure.
The guy that he's talking about that we connect to, he took my process, I believe it was 4 years ago. He had never got over 21,000. He wavered back and forth between 17,000 and 21,000 in the crypto or whatever it was. I don't pay attention to that, but those
It's around that, yeah.
3 months later, he was a millionaire after taking the process.
It must be a coincidence, Don.
Like seriously. And so that's, however, I never guarantee anything. I'm just saying he never got over 21,000 on his trading in all his years. Now he's young. I think he's still only 25 or 26 or whatever. And yeah, within 3 months he was a millionaire.
Yeah, so like literally going from only his crypto portfolio would never got over like 21,000. He does the process with Don. 3 months later, he becomes a millionaire at 21 years of age. How amazing is that? You know, that's just ineffable. And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about working hard at it, reading the books and going to the seminars, going to Tony Robbins and Eric Worre and all that. No, we're talking about coming back into this knowing. And what we mean by that is literally whenever you're in this level of consciousness, everything starts to come into place. Everything. I mean, I'm talking about I went 3.5 hours yesterday, and on my way to where I was headed, without doing a single thing, I earned 5 figures, like hands free. I was like taking a nap, and I wake up to like making.
You're gonna pay me that money over.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So what we're talking about is like a level of flow where everything comes into place. Everything. The right people, circumstances, opportunities. No trying to force things. It's not putting a square peg in a round hole. It's just, hey, oh, I'm at the right place at the right time. Here's a round peg, round hole. Bam.
Away we go.
Away we go. And so, Will, do we have any updates on the smart contract right now, or are we just still waiting on the last piece?
The last piece.
The literal last piece. I know we said that like 3 streams ago, but
5 last pieces.
5 last pieces. That one piece is made up of 5 pieces. But yeah, we ended up just making an executive decision like, hey, like we'll just take the financial hit just to get it going. We don't want to wait any longer. Like the rocket ships is getting ready to launch. So
Right on.
um
So on that, you got some.
yo, Sam, how about an advancement on all that free content I've been providing? JK.
I hear you, bro.
We'll see you here in the Philippines.
I'd like to
Hopefully.
somebody to introduce our new the new people on the call.
Yeah, if you're new on this call,
Love to hear from you. We're not too shy.
I'm waiting for the smart contract also. I'm also looking to increase my crypto. Is there anything down there? Okay.
Okay. Well, for those that are new, see there's a few new, welcome.
I think Corey's new.
NC's new.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to attempt that name. This is that Kazua Hansuli.
I didn't even try them.
You said some like some letters that were not even in there.
It's not my forte. Yeah. So, anyway, well, it's certainly nice to have everybody on the call, and we see this and then taking off in a big way. Actually, I was talking to someone this morning, and you know, actually his a friend of his has been doing. I know I took his friend through my process, but his friend is in Hawaii, and he's been there for I think 3 months, and he's already made 3M in 3 months with his model. And so, you know, there's a need, but also it's like, okay, are we still working on, like, for example, Tony Robbins is the best in the world at personal development. I've worked with, I've studied a lot, and I've even done some of Tony's stuff. So he is by far the best in the personal development field. And as an example of that, I'm trying to remember the person's name. He spent over $500,000 on personal development. Adam, his name.
Adam Winning.
And he spent over $500,000 on personal development. $500,000, traveling everywhere, all of that. And he was a friend of Jamie's. And so what happened was, we were in Mexico, in Cabo San Lucas. And he flew into Cabo to work with me. Okay? And we went to this big hacienda overlooking the, right on the ocean, actually. And I took him through the process. 90 minutes later, 90 minutes. Now, keeping in mind, you know, all those years in personal development, 90 minutes later, everything was gone. All the things, all those programs, all those patterns that he had spent all that time and all that money on. Okay, that's a big difference, you know. So, and it took me a while to unravel that, the personal development from the I am divinity. It didn't happen overnight. It happened with, why is this not holding? Why do I still have this? What's going on? I've done all this, and I'm doing it again and again. And I'm telling you, when Adam went back, I think he was in Texas at the time, if I remember correctly. He went back and his wife picked him up at the airport. She hardly recognized him. The transformation was so dramatic. Okay? And so I too was caught up in that personal development. And I want to be clear on that, especially for the new person. Especially for the new person. That, and Sam here alluded to that, which is this, is it's not going from I'm not good enough to I'm good enough. I'm not loved to I'm loved. I'm not safe to I am safe. I'm trapped to I'm freed. On and on and on and on. It isn't that. It is, I am love. I am worth. I am invincible. I am power. It's like my eyes are blue. His eyes are green. They're not, they're going to be green. They're greener, bluer, none of that. And that's the difference. That's why those of you that have been hard on yourself all this time, that you can't hold it and it's still there, and all of those, is for that reason. Because you're in the belief system. And how wonderful it is to, you know, I am lovable is better than I hate myself. For sure. Okay, for sure. I used to imagine having a dagger and just stabbing myself all over and over and over and over again because of how terrible a person I was. And that the shame, you could fill a tanker ship with the shame that I carried. Okay? So going from not good enough to good enough and not worthy to worthy is not the answer, or not loved to loved. No one loves me. I'm fitting in. Those kind of things. It's like, I am love. These eyeballs, they're blue. Okay? I am love. I'm a ball of love. It doesn't change. I am worth. I'm divine. That's how much worth I am. I am divine. So is this fella. And so are you. Okay? So it's not an adjective or a verb or any of those words to add to that. My eyes are blue. They're not bluer. They're not more blue. Okay? That's why I catch people on their language. When someone yesterday said, I'm more something, whatever it was. Like, how do you measure more? Is that one millimeter, a millimeter of more? Or is it, 20 miles more? So it's like, no, it's I am love. I am worth. That's it. That's how it works. That's who we are. And so doing all those belief systems and changing them and doing affirmations, that's a flawed system. Just to be straight with you, it's a flawed system. Yeah.
That's why their favorite line is fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it. Now, there is a drawback on this one. And what that drawback is that neurocellular muscle needs to get strengthened so that you can hold that note. That's the one that takes some effort. Is like, I am love. I am worth. And then when somebody criticizes you, you get triggered into, I'm not worthy or I'm not worth. And then we just come back to, no, I'm a ball of love. I'm a ball of worth. I am. So it's like strengthen that neurocellular muscle that when somebody criticizes you or judges you or any of those kind of things, there's no trigger to it. There's literally no trigger. So there you have it, as far as that's concerned. So for those of you that are new, who've never heard about this before, that's what we're talking about. Can you increase the volume on Don's mic?
Oh, I think I know why.
How is that? How is that, Paul? Is that any better?
I think that was it.
Yes, it is. Thanks.
Why didn't you tell us this before, man? What took
He
you so
did.
long?
He actually did. We were just it was a couple of minutes ago.
Just kidding you there.
I just love listening to you, Don.
What? I'm sorry?
I say I just love listening to you.
So, there's how it works is being able to trace these pieces to their origin. Trace it to its origin. That's how it works. But we're tracing it neurologically, not intellectually, because it's the intellect that created the toxicness. Okay, the intellect did that. It made up all these beliefs. And many of them, as I mentioned previous, happened in the womb. Like we are aware, even before we're conceived. That's how far back, and some of you are able to go back in previous lifetimes, and all of those kind of things. So to say that, I don't remember or whatever, it's like you can't do it intellectually. The intellect is not an accurate system at all for measuring. It's neurological. So it's emotional, and it's an event. And in that event is this massive bubble or balloon that gets exploded into largeness at an identity level of who we think we are. rather than the knowing of who we truly are. Big difference. All the difference in the world, actually. And so it's like, yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. And so we have to trace it the same way it was created. And I will say this, if I have to say it 20 times. If, whether it's in the womb or, you know, at birth, somewhere in between, whether it's at 2 or 5 or 7, most times these happen before the age of reason, which is 4 or 5, mostly. And what happens is there's no logic or reason. That's how they happen. There is no, oh, that's what happened. We don't have that at that age. There's no logic and reason. Just, oh, something happened, there's a shock. And you created a powerful statement about you and your world, or you or your world. Okay, you did that. You did it that quick. You did it that quick. And then you just kept holding it. I work with a lady, 93. Imagine holding on to a belief about you, in her case, about her, to 93, about how flawed she was and how she was a bad person. Imagine her relief when we just shattered that emotional boil. And it was all gone, all that energy. Imagine that. How awesome that is. So doesn't it make sense that it was created that quickly, no matter what age? And it was before us being consciously aware of these things. And it gets shattered, burst, boom, and bingo, it's gone. It's gone. And away we go. And we realign the system to go from the negative and positive beliefs of who we think we are to the knowing of who we truly are. And all of those pieces just start flowing instantly. Would you agree with that in your case?
100%.
Okay. So has anybody got any questions or queries that doesn't seem to make sense to you, is what we've been saying? Anybody got, especially the newbies? Certainly open.
Don't be shy.
No? It's the last thing you need on this call. Okay. Here's your chance.
Well, we are glad that you guys are here and at least open.
Yeah, totally.
Angel, Mr. Corey, Neza Kazua, Consoli. I think I got pretty close, or maybe I'm way off. I don't know. But yeah, we're glad that you guys are on. Yeah, this is unlike anything that you've probably ever heard of. I know for a fact it was unheard of for me. And it was really all thanks to Jamie. He's the CEO here at IAMDIVINITY. He's out with his sweetheart, little downtime. And just like going back to like how you should be quote unquote like promoting this if you choose to. It's just holding your light. And that's what Jamie did. I saw him on social media one day. Like I had known him for a couple of years online. And then I saw him on his story. And he's just smiling so big. And I saw this light on my social media. I'm like, what the heck is this guy on? And I want some of that. And I never told him actually. I was just kind of like, I was like, dude, like something's different about him. And then one day, like I think maybe a couple weeks later, he's like, hey, you need to talk to my mentor, Don. And I was open and I talked to Don, and that was over a year ago. Paul, we're finding that when we get close to our divinity, the triggers appear and ignites the ego.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that, Paul. Would you like to know what that is?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Well, it's quite simple, actually. And Marianne Williamson states it so eloquently, but I'm just going to cut to the quick on it. It's we have a phobic response to our light. Have a phobic response to being in our light. That's what it is. Okay. Closer and closer to our divinity is closer and closer to our light. But
Right.
once again, just that language, Paul, closer and closer to our divinity. Tell me how much closer you've been to the color of your eyes since we started.
That hasn't changed.
Oh, it hasn't. Is that a fact? Interesting. It hasn't changed.
No. No.
Oh. Oh. So there's no such thing as being what?
I said it appears not it's in my situation as well, and also with Donna, and and then the challenges come up, and we're actually facing each other with what appears to be a replay of what we thought we'd already managed. So it comes back at us that way, and we're definitely better at handling our triggers around it now, for sure, absolutely. But that's how it shows up, and then we have the conversation, which is great, and we're opening ourselves up to discuss it in the past. I may be going back a few years, but in the past we that conversation would just stop dead in its tracks right there.
Well,
Yeah.
may I suggest something? Are you open to a
Oh,
suggestion?
absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Can you, sitting here right now, recall your most powerful moment in your divinity?
Yes, I can.
Okay, that's the color of your eyes. Okay? There is no
Okay.
measurement. There's no anything. You can access that, then the ego dissolves instantly.
I've been
You
doing
can't
that.
fight it. What's that?
Yeah. I have been doing that, and I find with not much effort at all, I'm actually past that what appears to be a block.
Yeah, and all
Yeah.
those blocks are, Paul, is they're just different ways the ego has had to stay alive. And it's going to try every one it possibly can.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And so if you, for example, do something as simple as, and this is the divine focus. Let's say you're staring at the ego, whatever that is, whether that's Donna or a Bill or the kids arguing or like whatever that is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you just do a 180. Just turn 180, do your divine focus,
Yeah.
and access your pure light. That's all you do. There's nothing more to be done.
Yeah, and I have done that on occasion, but then it seems that when in conversation, sometimes that what triggers me again, it's part of that impatience of wanting things to move along.
Okay.
That's always,
So let's do that, Paul. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. This is for everybody, okay? So you want to move along quickly then?
apparently.
Okay, but yeah, we're gonna go with your words, okay? I'm just gonna ask you questions based on your words.
Okay.
You're quickly going where?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. There's a
Okay.
part of you that don't know.
Um, I guess to the next level or the next step.
Okay, you guess?
No, to the next level,
Okay,
next
I
step.
thought you said, I guess. Yeah, okay. Got it.
Yes.
Okay, and what's at the next step that you're searching for that you don't have at this step?
Oh, that's a good question. It's funny, I have to think about that.
That's the problem. You're thinking
Yeah. Yes,
rather than listening.
that's true. Yeah, yes, that's absolutely true. That seems to identify my impatience right away.
Which is what? For what? Impatience for what?
I guess could be a lot of things. I guess one thing that comes up is being successful at what I do and expectations of my performance and being, effective or maybe non-effective. A lot of things seem to creep in there.
Yeah. So you're still holding the not good enough.
Yes, I am. I think I am. Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. What's the best thing about doing that, Paul? And I'm asking all these questions for the listener, so everybody can benefit. What's the best thing about holding on to that program?
That I'll finally realize that I am good enough.
And what have you finally realized that you are good enough?
When I go to my divinity.
Okay, so why would you not want to keep it then?
That's a good question.
Yeah, what's the answer?
I would say doubt.
Okay, so
Doubtful
you're
of
using
it.
doubt. You're using doubt, questioning whether you're in your divinity or not. Is that what you're telling me?
Not when I'm there. No, I don't doubt that when I'm in it. Absolutely not.
Okay, so why would you not want to keep it then if you don't doubt it when you're not in it? When you're in it?
I guess, well, the word that comes up for me is fear.
Fear of what? Oh.
Fear of losing it.
Oh, so now you're holding on to loss.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, I guess I am. I am.
So
I'm holding on. I'm holding on.
You'd rather not have it than lose it.
That sounds ridiculous.
The ego is ridiculous. Am I accurate in what I just said?
Yes, that's absolutely ridiculous. Yes.
So
I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want, but I'm afraid to lose what I don't know what I want.
yeah. So how's that working out, Paul?
It's not working out. It's when that happens, it's absolutely ridiculous and it's terrible. It's not working out.
Wonderful.
No, that's not. I gotta stop that
I
one.
have even asked you this question before. Have you got a strainer in your kitchen?
Yes, we have. Yes.
You do have a strainer. Have you ever
Yes.
tried to get a drink of water with that strainer?
No, I dare not.
You didn't do
No.
that?
No, it doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work. So is the program you're running to hold your light working the way you're doing it?
Half and half.
What?
Yes. Sometimes.
You say half and half?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, what color are your eyes, Paul?
Hazel.
So they're only hazel half the time?
No, they're hazel all the time.
Oh, they're hazel
Oh,
all the time,
yes,
correct?
yes.
And you don't have any doubt about having them, hazel?
No, I don't. No,
And you don't have any doubt about losing the color of your eyes?
never think about it. No.
Oh, you never think about it. Oh, wow, Paul. How come you don't think about that?
It's another ridiculous statement, but yeah, unless I had some.
It's not amazing, Paul, how ridiculous these are. These programs that your ego has convinced you of as a reason to keep your ego.
Yes, yes, it sure has.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
oh, damn. Mhm.
what?
I said, damn.
And can you see how it affects your family, your wife and your children when you're in those toxic?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Notice how you blame them.
Yeah, I can turn it around and make it appear that it's got nothing to do with me, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got that? So can you see how you end up blaming them? Yes or no?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. And that's what you want. You want a non-healthy relationship with your wife and children, correct?
Oh, sure. Send them all my way. No.
So what kind of a relationship would you like with your wife?
Well, sharing, loving, affectionate and supportive.
Okay. And with your children?
Pretty much the same.
Okay. Who's in charge of that?
I am.
Huh. How powerful would that be if you made that decision right now? That this is the state I am going to hold, which is the knowing of who I am, my hazel eyes.
Yeah, it's very powerful, actually. That's what I'd love. That's what I will do.
Oh,
Yes.
you're lucky you finished corrected that sentence that you were going to say.
I'm getting the hang of this, I think.
You think?
I know.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I
I
think.
know.
What?
I know.
Oh,
Yes.
you know. Okay. So what do you know
Another
about
word
Paul?
another word that came up that was very deceptive in terms of, because we're always making sure we're speaking the words that really define what we're thinking, or maybe what we think we were thinking, is the word start.
Mhm.
And I found myself using that word start as almost like anticipating an end. And it's an interesting word, but I find that a lot of people, and me included, say, well, I'm going to start that, and really never get going on anything.
Yeah.
And
So what would
anyway, I find that that's one of the words that creeps in a lot in my vocabulary, or it has in the past quite a lot before.
So Paul, what that is the words that create the cushion to protect you from what you deem to be failure.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You get that?
Hmm.
And once again, how much have you failed at keeping your eyes hazel?
Not at all. Never.
How much have you doubted about keeping your eyes hazel?
Never comes up.
It never comes up.
No.
And how many times have you had an argument with someone about your hazel eyes?
Wouldn't last very long.
Why is that? Why is that, Paul?
Because I wouldn't be there to listen to it.
Okay.
Well,
get this?
yes.
Okay. So how would you like keep recalling your divinity like the color of your eyes?
110%.
Wonderful. And when do you plan on making that decision?
Oh, right now, I've already made it.
Oh, have you? So now what I want you to do, let's test that right now.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to think about the last conversation you had with Donna in the old system.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how different is it?
Oh, it's night and day.
Huh. And your kids.
Well, that's absolutely the same with one of my kids. The other one, we're not talking, but yes.
Yet. Yet.
Yet.
That's
Yet.
your responsibility, Paul.
Oh,
You
yeah.
hear me? What?
Yes, I do. Yes, I hear you.
And are you going to
Yes.
clean up your side with that son or daughter?
Yeah, it is up to me, isn't it? Yes.
Damn right it is. It's you that's
Yeah.
got the hazel eyes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Now, when's the first time that you're going to reach out? Is it as a son?
Yeah, it's my eldest. Yep.
Okay. When are you going to what's his name?
Adam.
Adam?
Yes,
When are you
Adam.
reaching out to, when are you reaching out to Adam to clean this up? That's too
hmm.
long.
Haven't made a decision on it.
I just asked you about making that decision, and that's not a timepiece. You're going to give your ego the chance to stay in your energy field, at your kitchen table, in the living room, watching TV, talking to your wife, talking to your kids. You planning on keeping that for a while? How long, Paul? This is your ego holding on right now, just so you know, Paul.
No, we're not. No, I don't want to keep that going on because it's extremely, it's debilitating to say the least.
Wonderful. So I'm going to ask you this question again. When are you calling your son?
Complicated answer. I know it's not the one that I need to make at the moment. I don't know. It's just very complicated, but
Impossible
uh,
to complicate. There's nothing complicated about being in your light. That's your ego
what
making
my
excuse.
well, being in my light says I should be calling him, like soon, like now or tomorrow
Yeah.
or the next day.
No, 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 not tomorrow or the next day. Now is the only correct answer.
Wow. Boy, that's rubbing me the wrong way like crazy.
It's what?
I say it's rubbing me the wrong way to come up with that answer.
Yeah. And that's how
Yeah,
the ego is keeping a hold of you, Paul.
yeah.
That's how it's staying alive in you, Paul.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about this, Paul?
Well, and I have to call him.
When, Paul?
Y'all call him now.
Okay. Soon as we hang up, you do that. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I'll send him a text because of the time difference, however, but yes, I hear you.
Okay. Well, you send them a text right now while we're talking.
Hey. Oh boy. Uh, You see, how do we even do this? Jesus
What,
Christ.
you don't know how to send a text? Is that what you just said?
No, I can do it. I've just got you. I've got you on my phone. Our computer charger stopped working. So I've got this on the phone right now.
Mhm.
But I think I can
So
do it.
Okay, well, give it a
Let
shot.
me
We're all willing to wait.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what I walked into, boy. Holy smoke.
I'll tell you
Uh,
what you walked into, Paul. You walked into truth.
yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yes,
Jeez.
you did, Paul. And the ego is wiggling, doing everything it can to get out of this.
I remember whenever you asked me to email my ex-wife or my former wife
Yeah.
and my
No, did I say email?
or message her, but she has me blocked and everything. So I was like, okay, I'll figure out a way
Okay.
to talk to her.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, I have her email. And she responded. But getting to that point, it was the ego did not like it because I wanted to continue to still be a victim
Yeah.
and to be right about the story that I created about her, not realizing that everything that happened was a reflection of me
Yeah.
and the whatever was happening within me. And so, yeah, I mean, now we talk all the time. Like I messaged her the other day, and she still hasn't changed, but that's okay.
None of your business.
It's none of my business. I'm here, I'm holding the light, and I wish her freedom, and I wish that, that she can also feel this, and maybe one day I planted, that seed that I planted will blossom into a divinity tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Paul? Did you get that text done yet?
Don't let the ego win.
Hey Don,
Yeah.
I remember while he's texting, I remember watching a video with David R. Hawkins and he was talking about the ego. And at the very end of it, he said the only thing the ego was really good for was to avoid responsibility. And I was like,
Huh.
damn, hey, mic drop. Just wanted to throw that out there to sound kind of relevant.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, totally. I'm sure everybody listening is learning something of great value here and how the ego works.
Oh, Paul's back. That's why he can answer.
Oh, okay.
The ego kicked him off.
Okay. So you're back, Paul? Okay, you back, Paul?
Yeah, sorry about that. I knocked me out of the whole transmission here.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So
I tried to text him, but I've forgotten I've got a Greek SIM card, so it's not letting me do it right now. But
WhatsApp?
can you send him a
yeah,
WhatsApp?
I was thinking WhatsApp or I'll just email him. One or the
Okay.
other.
Well, you go
Yeah.
do that. You go do that while we're finishing this off, and then you can get back on.
Okay, I will do.
Yeah. We'll wait.
All right.
So, did you notice, everyone listening, how that the trickiness of the ego and how it can make something totally negative look positive? Okay, that's what it does. That's the ego, and it finds whatever reason, any whatever's, and its goal is to stay alive. That's its main objective. Doesn't give a damn about you, doesn't care what happens to you, doesn't matter about any of that. The ego wants to stay alive, and it will do everything and anything to stay alive. And it's a fear-based program filling you with a bunch of lies. Yep. So anyway, how are we doing for time? So
yeah, it's 11:52 a.m. here. So what, like I think 10:52 over there, PM. So yeah, we don't sugarcoat anything here, as you guys can see if this is your first time. And it might be a little bit uncomfortable, just like you could hear in Paul's voice, but there's literally nothing that's going to give you the freedom then going into the places that you've tried to keep yourself from going into. The truth will really set you free, you know. And I remember Dawn just like really questioning me, and I was like, man, this guy is pushing my buttons. But that's exactly what I needed. And so yeah, we're looking for the courageous people. Like what did you send me yesterday? The divinity is for courage and people with big hearts and big will or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what it's gonna ask of you.
It's the courage to look at the ego and how it's infecting your life. And it's going to keep you blinded to how it's working in your world. That's what it's going to do. It's going to find ways for it to stay hidden from you so that it doesn't get found out. That's how it works. It wants to stay alive, and it doesn't give a damn how destructive it is for you. Doesn't care about that at all. It wants to stay alive and it wants to stay in control. And it will sound logical and great reason what story it's telling you. It will even seem like it makes sense. And it never does, ever. It's going to fill you with lies, going to tell lies, and its whole objective is to stay alive. So if you're on the call still, Paul, I got to tell you, congratulations.
You said I left the email message.
Oh, perfect, Paul. Congratulations, bud. You passed the exam. You came a long way in 15 minutes, bud. Okay.
Well, it's hard when you see it. It's hard not to see it, and
yeah,
it's hard not to see what actions you really need to take, and I just can't kid myself.
Well, you did everything you could today to kid yourself, just so you know.
I sure tried. You
tried everything you possibly could to get around what I was asking you to look at and to do.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So kudos, Paul. I'm really impressed. Really impressed. Super. That you didn't hang up the phone on me. Okay.
Yeah, no.
As much as you wanted to. What?
I guess you thought I did when I cut out. I don't know.
So
anyway.
Now the other thing, Paul, is this. Listen carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever ways you contact your son. What's his name again? Did you tell me his name? I forget.
Adam.
Adam. Yes, Adam, you did tell me. So whatever way that you guys connect, such as Adam coming back to you, you make sure, absolutely sure, that you're in that divine light energy. So tell me the one thing that reminds you that you're in your light.
Color of my eyes.
The color of your eyes. So may I suggest you stand in the bathroom looking at the mirror at the color of your eyes when you're communicating with your son Adam.
Okay.
So you will not forget that you are divine. And it's your job to keep it. It's not your job to not get triggered by Adam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your job is to hold this light. Because he's not going to be on your page.
Oh, no, absolutely not. But that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to not take any of it personally.
Mhm.
He's a lower vibration and he's going to communicate with you from there.
Oh, that I know. Yes.
And if you take it personally, you're going to sink. Got it?
Yeah. Yeah, like trying to save a drowning person. I know.
Yeah, you
Very
can
hard.
drown. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it? So
Yes.
the key about this is you holding your light while you're communicating it with him, whether it's in text, email, or phone. Preferably phone with a video, with visual. So that's the
Yeah.
highest. And
Yep.
may I suggest that you make that offer? I'd like to talk to you, Adam. Can we do a video, like a video call?
Yeah.
Okay. May I
Yes.
suggest that you offer to do that?
Yes, I will do that.
Perfect,
Yes.
Paul. Now you're getting it. Now listen to your language. Yes, I will do that. Clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Wonderful. Congratulations, Paul. You've been a great
Example.
for everybody on the call.
Well,
And-
thank
and-
you, Don, and thank you guys.
And how tricky the ego is and how it makes it look like you're making the right decisions when they're toxic and attempting to destroy you or your environment. Because it doesn't
Well, I haven't
give
felt that kind of block so clear as when I was answering you when you were asking me what, when are you going to make that call?
Yes,
And
Paul.
that
No one
was
ever
a
against the wall.
huge block came up. It's
Yep.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the ego with that block.
Yeah, that's clear as day.
And you
Gosh.
did everything you could to wiggle your way out of that.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Oh boy.
But you passed the exam, bud. You passed, Paul. Way to go, bud.
Remember that song, Who's Fooling Who?
Yeah. Paul's fooling Paul.
You got it. All right. All right. Thanks again. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Awesome job, Paul.
Congratulations, everyone.
Well, that was a great example. As always, thank you for all of you for being here. We look forward to giving you some good news. We're finishing right on time. It's 12 noon here. So with that being said, thank you once again. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. Philippines time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And infinite love from us. I am Divinity.